Hello, my lovelies. I am Madam Crystal Butterfly, and today I will be reviewing The Mister by E.L. James. Alright, my lovelies, before we get into what this story is about, let's have a little chat about the author. Erica Mitchell, also known as E.L. James, was born on the 7th of March, 1963. After leaving university, she worked as a studio manager's assistant at the National Film and Television School in Beaconsfield. James later married Niall Leonard, who is a novelist and screenwriter from Northern Ireland. Her first book, series 50 Shades of Grey, was inspired by the vampire novel series Twilight. After the success of her 50 Shades series, she later published The Mister in 2019, which was actually a story James started writing before she even got the idea for the 50 Shades series. Okay, let's get into what exactly The Mister is all about. London, 2019. Life has been easy for Maxum Trevelyan. With his good looks, artistic connections, and money, he's never had to work, and he's rarely slept alone. But all that changes when tragedy strikes, and Maxum inherits his family's noble title, wealth, and estates, and all the responsibility that entails. It's a role he's not prepared for, and one he struggles to face. But his biggest challenge is fighting his desire for an unexpected, enigmatic young woman who's recently arrived in England, possessing little more than a dangerous and troublesome past. Reticent, beautiful, and musically gifted, she's an alluring mystery, and Maxum's longing for her deepens into a passion that he's never experienced and dares not name. Just who is Alessia de Marchi? Can Maxum protect her from the malevolence that threatens her? And what will she do when she learns that he's been hiding secrets of his own? From the heart of London, through wild, rural Cornwall, to the bleak, forbidding beauty of Balkans, The Mister is a roller coaster ride of danger and desire that leaves the listener breathless to the very last moment. My lovelies, I will not lie to you. This story for me was not a fun read. Now, I'm not going to pick out every little thing I had a problem with when it comes to The Mister. Partially because this is a spoiler-free review, and if I do that, then I'd just be telling you the entire story. Also, things that I had a problem with involving this story might not be a problem for you or somebody else who reads the story. My reviews are strictly my opinion of a book after I read it. Now, let's take a moment to take a deeper look into the story by looking at one of its main characters. Let's start off with this story's female lead, Alessia. When we meet Alessia, the poor woman is escaping people trying to sell her into sex slavery. Alessia had originally run into the traffickers when she ran away from her home in Albania. I can't tell you anything involving her running away from home and getting captured by human traffickers other than the traffickers brought her to England where they were plotting to sell her, and and that's where she escaped from them. I wish the author had given more weight to the human trafficking issue. Often I felt that the problem with people trying to sell the female lead into sex slavery was less about the poor woman being in danger and experiencing trauma from the experience than it was an excuse to have her love interest rush in and save her. It also looked like the love interest used the situation to get her alone so he could have sex with her. Worse, Alessia does not strike me as the wisest of people. She does do something that is very smart near the end of the story that prevents other characters from getting hurt, but she completely forgets that she did it right after she tells a room full of people what she did. The book plays the idea of Alessia being naive and childish as it's so much better than a woman who is confident and knows what she wants. I admit that this bothers me a lot, since the author is playing the concept of a strong woman as a bad thing. I don't think that was her intention, but that is what the story implies.
Okay, time to rip off the Band-Aid and talk about Maxum.
My lovelies, I don't know where to begin with this guy. When you meet Maxum, he just finished having sex with his brother's widow 2 days after his brother's funeral. Apparently, his brother's widow, Caroline, was an old flame of his, but they did not fool around while she was with his brother. They just decided to hook up 2 days after the funeral. Maxum's brother died in a motorcycle accident that's suspected to be a suicide. To be honest, other than he inherits his brother's title, everything I just said about his brother doesn't matter. Nothing significant comes from the hookup with Caroline, and the story doesn't bring up the suspected suicide other than a minor mention. Maxum even immediately ghosted Caroline for a while after they have sex so he can hook up with a couple of random women, and really he doesn't even feel like being bothered with her. I do suspect Maxum may have sexual addiction. He seems to be obsessed with having frequent sex with random women who he regards as nothing more than a tool for his pleasure. He even goes into detail about how he sees the women he beds as a random fuck whose name he only tries to remember just to make things less awkward when she leaves. Maxum also puts a lot of effort into complaining about getting his brother's title because he has to start being responsible.
That basically sums up Maxum. So, why do he and Alessia work as a couple?
The romantic couple in this story don't have strong chemistry with each other. They meet because Alessia is able to get a job as Maxum's cleaner. Maxum quickly falls for her when he hears Alessia play his piano beautifully. She falls for Maxum because he's rich and good looking. Also, he owns that piano she loves so much. I know this story is supposed to be erotica, and erotic stories are usually all about sex and how quickly the characters can climb into bed with each other, but there are a lot of erotic stories that take the time to build up the romance between the two romantic interests a lot better and give the readers more of the feeling that the romantic pairing is compatible with each other. But I feel that E.L. James dragged out the romantic tension way too much and added a lot of unnecessary scenes. You see, when Maxum and Alessia fall for each other, they spend a sad amount of time just telling themselves there is no way the other person would be even the tiniest bit interested in them. Maxum is also nasty because he usually leaves a trash can full of used condoms practically every day for the cleaner to clean up. When he falls for Alessia, he stops sleeping around. Alessia noticed the trash isn't full of used condoms. She's not overjoyed that she doesn't have to deal with cleaning up that nasty mess. No, she gets excited because it might be a sign that Maxum might be a little bit interested in her. As for him, well, the human traffickers chasing Alessia come to his home pretending to be immigration in hopes of recapturing her. The couple gets away from them, and Maxum decides the best thing to do is to take Alessia to Treverfeck, where he is Earl, to hide her. He figures since they will not be staying in his family's ancestral home while they're in Treverfeck, there's no way the bad people will find them. As I said earlier, Maxum pretty much used Alessia's situation to get her to run off someplace where she'd be alone with him. Sometime after they arrive in Treverfeck, the characters start having sex, and despite a lot of what they say in the story, it's pretty clear that Alessia and Maxum's relationship is all about sex. There's really not a whole lot of depth to it.
It's rating time! So, when it comes to the Mr., I am giving it the rating of 2 butterflies out of 5. Now, why did this story score 2 butterflies? Well, it's simple. Even though I did not like it, the story did at least stick to its main plot points. And even though I didn't find it a satisfactory resolution, it still resolved the main plot that the author hinted at the very beginning of the story. It didn't lose focus in that regard. And the next reason has to do with the fact that even though I didn't like this story, it has a lot of good ideas. It's just with many of the ideas, the follow through is either weak or it was not completed. I'm not going to tell you, my lovelies, never, ever, ever, under any circumstances, read the Mr. If you want to read something, it's your right to read it. But I really, really do not recommend reading it. It took me 2 years to complete reading this book because it just was not fun for me, my lovelies, and it got to a point where it was painful for me to read. The only reason why I even completed it is because I'm one of those people where if I start a book, I have to finish it, even if I don't like it. I don't know why I do that, but hey, it's my thing. Now, my lovelies, if you've made it to this part of the video, first I would like to say thank you. And please give this video a like. Leave me a comment if you have not yet. Slap the subscribe button like it owes you money. And don't forget to give that little notification bell a ring. And with that, my lovelies, this video is a wrap. Now, if you please, come with me as we dance into a world of magic.